of time.
Welcome to the last game of the night. This is the 12th game, I think. I can't count. I've lost the ability. It's Alliance versus RaTtLeSnAkE Game 2 in the International 3 group stages. It's going to be great. I really hope that RaTtLeSnAkE can put up a better fight than they did in Game 1.
RaTtLeSnAkE's turn to battle.
They got outdrafted and outplayed in a number of ways. They need more damage. If the problem with Timbersaw, well, there are a number of problems, and there's quite a good potential that he's kind of overpowered because he's so hard to kill, and when he hits, like, there's that specific zone between level 6 and level 12 to 13 where he is super hard to kill and he deals a shitload of damage. He falls off pretty hard in the late game, but if you're able to make opportunities out of that early game, he's so strong. He's so hard to deal with. But one way of dealing with him is just getting damage, and I think Visage is a much better support for dealing with that than really anything else. Especially if you can get level 6 on Visage and get the familiars up. That's another way of trying to help deal with Timbersaw. I don't know that was really, like, Timbersaw was far from the only component of Alliance's draft that was causing major problems for RaTtLeSnAkE. Even though Admiral Bulldog went 3 and 5 in the bottom lane, actually he probably ended up going I don't know, something closer to like 1 and 3. He got a solo kill on Lanham, and that's all it took for him to get the levels he needed to reach 6 and start producing track kills all over the place for his team. Which, if you allow that combo, you've got to be placing tons of sentries down and dealing with the bounty hunter, making sure that he's not tracking. I mean, they did kill him a number of times, but it was all solo kills when Admiral Bulldog was off on his own. When it came to the team fights, Alliance had everything on lockdown.
Alliance's turn to pick.
Really good use of the sleep in a number of, I wouldn't call it unconventional. It's not like shocking, like, oh yeah, use it to help secure a kill, but not hesitating to use it. It's really important. Saving the sleep forever for a rainy day is not a good idea, and Alliance seems to know that and use it accordingly. Alliance will go for the Nature's Prophet this time. Put that on Admiral Bulldog and let him have a heyday. They also pick up the Rubik and the Keeper of the Light. There's a Phantom Lancer still in the pool, which Alliance, they've run this before. Tend to think they run it pretty well, but by no means are they locked into the Phantom Lancer. And in fact, Phantom Lancer's performance with Keeper of the Light has been pretty poor. There was a brief period of time around 3 months ago where Phantom Lancer was, people were bitching about him left and right. Not for any particularly good reason, because his win rate still wasn't that absurd. It was like 52%. But it was still, people were still complaining about it just because they thought it was anti-fun that he, like, drew these games out. Yeah. Someone just crashed outside.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah. I'm gonna leave that one be.
Remaining.
Not like a accident crash, like it looks like someone's drunk and raging. I don't know what's going on out there. I'm gonna focus on the game. Sorry, it's like 20 feet from my window, so I'm like keeping an eye on it, making sure that nothing terrible happens. Huh. So they do go for the Phantom Lancer. If anyone can run it, I think it's Alliance. Loda plays a really good Phantom Lancer and
10 seconds remaining.
Doesn't get too ballsy.
5 seconds remaining.
Which is it can be tempting if you have an early lead as Phantom Lancer to. Sorry, there's Maybe I should close my windows. I think I'm gonna close my windows because this looks like it's gonna be a saga.
Alliances turn
Which,
to
under
bad.
normal circumstances, I would be happy to be entertained by the drama. But not today.
10 seconds remaining.
Alright. Much better. It'll get a little hot in here. In fact, it's going to get burning up in here, but only have to endure it for potentially an hour, depending how long this Phantomlancer game goes. RaTtLeSnAkE respond with a Weaver and Windrunner. They're going for more damage, which was sorely lacking in their previous lineup. This Alchemist may have to go for a Battle Fury.
RaTtLeSnAkE's turn
One of
to
the
pick.
troubles of melee carries versus Phantomlancer is just getting to him. As a Lifestealer, you can just rage, and you don't have to worry about the defusal on all the illusions and losing all your mana. But Alchemist doesn't have such a thing. He'll have a BKB, but that's not nearly as reliable as rage. So his ability to get the single target DPS onto Phantomlancer is dubious. So Weaver and Windrunner are both decent at helping with that DPS and can be pretty mobile.
Reserve time.
Man, that totally took me out of the zone. I'll go back and do it.
Alliances turn to pick.
RaTtLeSnAkE rounds it out with a Clockwork, so they have decent team fight. The only thing they're really short on is reliable stuns. If they can trap their target inside the cogs, then they have reliable stuns, because it's much easier to set up familiars, concoction, that sort of thing
10
in a
seconds
team fight.
remaining.
But I don't know, Alliance is
5
pretty
seconds
mobile.
remaining.
Clockwork is pretty good against Nature's Prophet. Makes it a lot harder for him to split push, but the way Alliance tends
Reserve
to
time.
run the Nature's Prophet is a little more. He's not all in on the split push. He's not completely on his own for most of the game. Tends to spend a lot of time helping out in ganks. And Alliance will round it out with a Storm Spirit, so they basically got a tricore going here with the Nature's Prophet, Phantomlancer, Storm Spirit. And Storm Spirit's really good against Clockwork. He's not concerned about the cogs whatsoever. He can zip in and out of them without proccing any of the mana burn. And it really makes it's good initiation for Alliance, which they definitely kind of need. Definitely kind of. Because otherwise they're basically just completely on their own. With like hoping for probably a sheep stick on Nature's Prophet and maybe a blink on EGM.
10 seconds remaining.
RaTtLeSnAkE are very mobile. They're kind of hard to kill. Very tanky Alchemist,
5
Weaver.
seconds remaining.
Unless they get the chain stun on him, and Alliance doesn't really have. I mean, they got Vortex and they've got Telekinesis, which are pretty good. That can be enough to take down a Weaver if you've got the burst damage. The more likely culprit will be Loda with the defusal, just burning through all of his mana. But by the time Loda has his defusal, then you'll be hitting level 11 or potentially level 16 on Weaver, and that's only 50 mana. Yeah. Oh no, it's 0 mana. Wow, I always forget that. 0 mana for time lapse, so you can't actually mana burn him out of that. But early game, if Loda manages to get a defusal early on, then it's possible for him to hills on Weaver. Going through the lineups here, S4 will be headed mid on that Storm Spirit, probably matching up against either the Clockwork or yeah, it is a kind of an Eastern thing to run the Clockwork mid. Sometimes the Western teams will do it, but it's much more common, particularly in China.
30 seconds.
Clockwork is a pretty
to
decent mid, and he's also pretty decent versus Storm Spirit for level 6. Once S4 hits his 6. Then Kabu's not going to have the ability to get him trapped inside the cogs, and the hookshot is not particularly great for trying to take down a Storm Spirit. So EGM will be on Rubik, Loda on that, Phantomlancer, and Akke on Keeper of the Light, forming this defensive tri-lane. This is a pretty classic defensive
The
tri-lane.
battle begins.
There's a lot of damage from RaTtLeSnAkE if this is in fact what they're doing. They've got Lanham on the Weaver with Icy on Windrunner. If they land some good shackles, it's possible. They're definitely going to be able to challenge the pulls, which will leave Akke and EGM suffering, at least as much as Icy and Sag. The soul assumptions from Sag will also be an important factor here. All of the heroes for Alliance in this tri-lane are fairly squishy, and they're going to be relying on each other to bail each other out of the damage that RaTtLeSnAkE is pumping out. And they've completely warded this. They want absolutely no pulls going on. And there are sentries up on EGM, but it doesn't look like Icy's going to let him get anywhere near this pull to do D-wards, which they're really going to need. If the lane is pushed forward, then this favors RaTtLeSnAkE, in my mind. At least until they get some levels up on Akke in particular. He's the critical component to making sure Loda can continue to spam the Spirit Lance, and if he can't get his if Akke can't get his levels, then this defensive tri-lane will be kind of slow, pretty weak for Alliance. Up in top, it's 1v1 Admiral Bulldog versus Low on Alchemist. It's a fairly even matchup. They're both going to get farm. One thing that Admiral Bulldog has to be careful about is not to feed his treants to Alchemist. The Grieval's Greed basically makes sure that any of those kills are bringing a lot of gold to him. So Admiral Bulldog has to be careful about that, especially with the Acid Spray. And he's challenging the pull here, which, if he's getting all these last hits, it's kind of hard to... not going to keep track of that, but if he is, then he's going to be pulling ahead in this lane. But the important factor here is that Admiral Bulldog is getting all the levels he could ever ask for. And he's using, I like this, using the enemy creeps to do his own jungle. And he's just going to pull him straight past the tower, which is a really smart idea versus an Alchemist. And there's no hatchet, or sorry, Quelling Blade on Low, which means he's going to have a hard time last hitting under this tower. So I think this off the bat favors Admiral Bulldog, and we'll definitely have to watch for Admiral Bulldog teleporting down to bottom or to mid, because any of those rotations could produce kills, especially if he's able to get a Sprout level 1. It's pretty hard to gank Clockwork because of the cogs. You can just pop them and walk away. But once S4 hits 6, it's definitely a possibility. 13-4 on S4 versus 11-2 on Kabu. So Kabu's doing a good job. It requires a lot of practice with Clockwork. This is something that I imagine teams have spent a fair amount of time doing. But it requires practice to get the exact range on cogs down so that you're always landing the mana burn. Because if you're wasting cogs and not getting that mana burn off, just telekinesis back, but there's no follow-up here from Loda. But if you get the range wrong and you're not landing the mana burn, then you're not making Clockwork mid work. It's not so much about the... nice eliminate on the Icy. It's not so much about the rocket, which he is leveling. I hope he doesn't level up past 2. You kind of have to get the second level just to make sure that you have enough damage to actually get last hits. But after that, yes, he is going for the Battery Assault next, which that is the critical component of Clockwork in the early game. Battery Assault, ooh, telekinesis backwards. Loda's not here for these Spirit Lances. That's twice now that he could have thrown out some Spirit Lances and basically forced Icy out of the lane, or at the very least to use even more regen. So another good example, Kabu doing a good job with these cogs to zone S4 out. So yeah, in the Clockwork versus look, he drops the Tango and he still gets the Courier to pick it up.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Definitely a rotation here towards the rune. S4 was hoping for the rune down here, but he gets trapped inside the cogs. Icy rotates in, the shackle does land, and S4 is going to be the first blood for RaTtLeSnAkE. So really nice. S4, I think maybe he felt committed at that point. Like he started walking down the river, realized he can't walk back because if he does, he's going to get trapped inside the cogs with Kabu and eat a full Battery Assault. And level 2 Battery Assault is a shitload of damage. So, realizes he can't walk back, is forced to walk down the river, and good rotation from Icy, and I mean, didn't even need Sag there. It's just the shackle from Icy that made the difference. And S4 feeds the first blood. It's not the end of the world, but Kabu, who did pick up that rune? No, actually, Sog picked up the rune with the Soul Assumption. Of course. I don't know how many kills I've seen Visages steal. And it must be on purpose. Like, I mean, S4 was gonna go down regardless. He didn't need to use the Soul Assumption. But maybe that's just their way of giving farm towards the support in some way, because he's not going to be getting any last hits. Brave Shield is used on EGM, trying to chase him out of the lane. Illuminate narrowly misses 3. Fairly passive early game, which is not too surprising. It would require an overextension from RaTtLeSnAkE to give up any kills here, and with this, I mean, they've kept this pole warded up. So Alliance are basically on the back foot here. So they thought that was the real loda, so wasting a shackle. But Alliance can't do much for the moment. They're really reliant on their other lanes to start providing relief against this aggressive tri-lane. In terms of the last hits, Loda is managing to get a surprising amount out of this lane. It looks like he's spamming the Spirit Lance for last hits. So he's 21-5 versus 23-7 on Lanham. So not too far behind, but it's the supports that are really suffering here, and they're all suffering equally. So it's kind of tough to say that either team is winning or losing too hard in this lane. I think it just comes down to what they're getting out of their other lanes. Up at top, Admiral Bulldog, he's actually beating Alchemist, which is kind of a sad circumstance for RaTtLeSnAkE. Because Admiral Bulldog was doing those pulls, managed to get a lot of jungle creeps, and forcing Loda to last hit under the tower. He did end up picking a Quelling Blade. Oh, EGM. Shackle will keep him there. The Soul Assumption. It's a 1-for-1 right now. I see a couple more right clicks from Loda, and he will go down. It's a 2-for-1 in favor of Alliance. Lanham just barely makes it out at 60 HP. Wanted to finish off Akke, but will not be able to do so. Looks like he's solo kill over in mid. Very close engagement between S4 and Kabu. S4 comes out on top, and actually Akke finishes off Weaver. Lanham spends too much time hanging out in the sidelines. Does not have. He's only level 4, so that's a level 2 Shikuchi. Long cooldown.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
So good for Akke, and that ends up being a 3-for-1 in favor of Alliance, and Loda's there for all of those kills, which really spells the end of the aggressive tri-lane for RaTtLeSnAkE. They can try and contest this, but the wards, well, actually they planted that freshly. They really don't want any pulls going on. But one thing I would like to, and yes, they're finally doing this. They've got to keep her to the light. They can start sacking the jungle camps, and that's another way for Akke to get his farm, because he's not going to get it in the bottom lane.
Denied.
Well, S4 up against Kabu, 44-9 versus 38 on Kabu. So Kabu's doing a pretty good job staying almost even. You don't expect Clockwork to win this matchup. You do expect him to slow down Storm Spirit more, however. But because of the solo kill, I think that really recovered S4 after that kill. I'm pleased by Kabu's build, maxing out the battery assault. That's the most important part. Every time I see that. Makes me warm inside. Well, continue posturing down in this bottom lane. Loda won't be leaving anytime soon. He's going to stay camped down here for a really long time. There's a teleport. Nope, back to the base. I was hoping it was going to be somewhere aggressive, but Loda's got 2,000 gold on him. He could be going straight for Shadow Blade. That is certainly an option. Would allow him to get involved in his other lanes. I would like to see. I don't know why Kabu is spending this much time over in mid. He's level 8 now. He's got max battery assault. It's time for him to start making things happen. Clockwork, you kind of play him like a Timbersaw. You've got to be aggressive, and you've got to make use of your hookshot and cogs and make things happen for your team, which they definitely can down at bottom. A hookshot down into this would go fantastically for RaTtLeSnAkE. But opting not to. I don't know what his game plan is here. And continuing just to let low farm. I mean, maybe RaTtLeSnAkE feels that they're getting more out of this this arrangement than Alliance is, but yeah, Alliance is, I mean, they're 1,500 gold ahead when there's no other factors involved. 2,500 experience too. Ooh, man, it's a full illuminate there, and that's gonna be a problem for him. Not gonna be able to stick in the lane too long. Although he's got a salve, so what am I talking about? Telekinesis back on Icy into an illuminate, very nice. But a shackle onto EGM. There's a soul assumption onto him. Hookshot in, Kabu, who's finally rotated, and there's a kill. It's a 1-for-1 right now. Admiral Bulldog, he's in the middle of things, right-clicking down Kabu, but he gets pushed back by the cogs. Another soul assumption onto Admiral Bulldog. The concoction to follow up. Low should be able to get this kill, although he's going to turn around and run away. Realizes he's completely on his own. Actually, that's a good idea. He's completely on his own and not going to be able to make it out. Admiral Bulldog is still sitting back there. I can't believe they weren't able to finish him off. Lanham, I'm not sure what his goal was down here, but he could have been up here, and he definitely could have helped finish off Admiral Bulldog. So, I don't know about that. Overall, favoring Alliance, I think, overall... not going to use overall twice in a sentence. Favoring Alliance, but... Oh, there's a nice jump in from S4. He finds Low, and finishes him off before he's able to get the concoction. And good rotation from S4. Had a DD to help him out with that, so Low basically had no chance. And the first rotation from Alchemist does not pay off. Leaves Admiral Bulldog alone, or free to farm up in this top lane. S4's free to farm in his lane, and the tri lane is secured for Alliance. This is really good for them. I really think it's time for RaTtLeSnAkE to abandon this tri lane. Yes, and Icy has finally rotated up top. They could get a kill onto Admiral Bulldog here if they play this right. Nope, he's not near any trees. He's positioned just so. The concoction does land, but he's too close to the tower. RaTtLeSnAkE can't dive that. So the supports on RaTtLeSnAkE can now finally start doing some stacking and pulling. But ooh, look at this! It's a triple stack here that akke and EGM are gonna be gobbling up, which should get them. Ooh, there's a teleport middle onto Kabu. Sprout keeping him in place. The cogs have already been used, but no chance of him escaping from this. There's no running away from the Storm Spirit, who's already on top of you and has plenty of mana to boot. This mid tower has already taken a lot of damage probably because of that double damage that S4 had. So first tower of the game goes towards Alliance, and it's the mid tower, most valuable. Things are looking good for RaTtLeSnAkE to start off here. 7-3, 12 minutes in. Ooh, yeah, especially after that tower, almost 4,000 gold in favor of Alliance.
Middle tower is under attack.
And Loda, he's got his Aquila, his Tranquils, as well as a Bracer, so, and 1,700 gold on top of that. So his farm is starting to pick up. Still not amazing, but it's gonna ball out of control pretty soon here. EGM still looking for his level 6. Would love to have that. Start stealing spells, be relevant in the game. His telekinesis have been pretty important. I hear. Is that just a? Oh, okay, it's just a creep. Every time I hear a telekinesis, I assume there's a kill going on. Man, every time this familiar gets summoned, I get a nice giant lag spike. It's interesting to me, given that they're not particularly. I mean, these models. They're not heroes. They don't have custom items. Force staff picked up on Admiral Bulldog. He's done this before, but this game I think makes a lot more sense because of the cogs on Kabu. If Admiral Bulldog gets stuck inside the cogs and with the battery assault, there's no chance he's making it out. The battery assault will interrupt his teleport, and that's basically it. But if he has a force staff, then the hookshot in removes some of the power that Clockwork offers versus Nature's Prophet. So I like that pickup on Admiral Bulldog, and getting it early is really going to make a big difference because I'm willing to bet that there will be an initiation on him. RaTtLeSnAkE should be checking his inventory, but oh, Lanham. S4 jumps in from long range. It looks like he's going for an Orchid this game. Oh, there's a Vortex. Totally unnecessary kill. Lanham should have just time-lapsed a lot sooner. I don't know why he underestimated S4. And up at top, Admiral Bulldog, he does get chased down. He tries to force himself out of the cogs, but does not go in the right direction.
Dire's bottom tower.
So, 1-for-1. relatively equal kills, you could say. There's a vortex on the low. Is there any more assistance here from... Wow, can S4 do this on his own? This could be way too ballsy, but oh, there's the shackle. Yeah, he's going to get finished off with the soul assumption. It's a decent trade. Probably favoring Alliance a little bit. Ooh, Lanham gets telekinesis back, and he's the illuminate. He's got to use his time lapse. There he goes. He can try and chase this, but I don't know that... I mean, he's got to be careful. Another chain stun. There's the dust used. He doesn't have the time lapse anymore, so Loda can probably solo him. Whoa, the illuminate lands. Just one more right click, and he does go down. Admiral Bulldog gets the last hit there. Way over aggressive by Lanham. That seems to be a story here. Overestimating his ability to handle these fights and just taking too much damage. I mean, after you use the time lapse, you gotta be more passive. It's not like he has any items. He's got treads and an urn. Ooh, I don't like that urn. I guess, I mean, if you're not going to get any items, it's better than trying to go for a Lincoln Sphere and failing. But urn does not offer a lot for a Weaver. If you get kills, it's okay, but no damage. It's just basically just for the mana regen and a little bit of strength, which there's other solutions for that. So not a fan of the urn Weaver. S4 is closing in on his Orchid. Started talking about this before he killed Lanham solo, but Orchid is going to be very strong this game, particularly versus Lanham. It's going to guarantee a lot of kills on him, and it's also going to be very good versus Windrunner, making sure that Windrun can't be used to... Ooh, nice shackle from Icy. This should be a dead S4 here, using the chain stun. Oh, but nice timing for S4. Although he gets finished off, one right click. Yes, he does go down. Sog continues the chase, deals not the killing blow, but gets the necessary damage out with the soul assumption. And it looked like S4 was gonna make it out there, but just didn't quit zip quite far enough. And I thought that it looked like he got hit by the concoction, even though the projectile disappeared. Kind of hard to say exactly what happened there, but yeah, I thought it was possible for Storm Spirit to impact the projectile of Alchemist, but perhaps he just didn't quite impact it.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Nevertheless, a kill on S4. RaTtLeSnAkE keeps themselves in this game with these pickoffs. They are still pretty far behind, nearly 7,500 gold, and about 5,000 experience. They're on the back foot here, and they're up against a Phantom Lancer. And not to mention Storm Spirit and Nature's Prophet. Admiral Bulldog, he uses the Force Staff to get himself away from... Oh, S4 has shown up. He teleported up. The concoction is not available from low, so he's not that tanky. Oh, Sprout up on Kabu. He can deny the cog, but he's just going to get pulled back by EGM. S4, he should be able to pick up this kill, and so he does. Actually, EGM gets the last hit there. And the Familiars might get picked off as well. There's no resummon available for Sog, so beating another 200 gold on top of that. Lanham. Ooh, Admiral Bulldog, he teleports in, traps Icy inside of the Sprout. Good use of the power shot, gets Icy out, but it doesn't matter because of the Vortex there. Sog on the back lines manages to pick off EGM with the Soul Assumption. They're going to try and chase down Admiral Bulldog, but oh, not quite enough damage. Can they pick up the kill on Sog here? Doesn't have much HP, so this should be a relatively easy kill for Loda. And so it is. Ends up being a double kill for Loda. It's maybe, I don't know if there were... I think that was just one death for Alliance. I can't believe they walked out of that with so few deaths. But it ends up being a 4-for-1 in favor of Alliance, and a tower on top of that. Continued over-aggression from RaTtLeSnAkE. At Lanham, he stuck around too long, and Lanham's Weaver this game has not been in top shape. Admittedly, it is, I mean, they've been playing all day. You know, just like I've been casting all day, and things happen when you do something for 11 to 12 hours straight. Admittedly, they've had more breaks than I've had, but it's okay. I do this of my own volition. Point being, it is getting kind of late in the day, and it's possible that that's affecting the quality of Lanham's Weavering. Nevertheless, with all the tier 1s down, the map is an open book for Alliance. They'll teleport down bottom, pick up another kill on Lanham. The Orchid guarantees that they had no chance of escaping that. Easy kill for S4. No trouble whatsoever. Defusal was picked up on Loda, 20 minutes. Oh, S4, he's going to go in on Sag. Can he do this without eating a soul assumption charge? Instead, EGM will eat it. EGM will pay for S4's aggression here.
Tower is under attack.
Hookshot misses. I don't know what Kabu was aiming for. S4 is here with an did have an Invis rune. Chooses. Although I guess he was stuck inside the trees anyway, so no difference there. Thought he might use that to try and pick up another kill, but probably good decision making from. Oh, they're gonna go and land him again. Oh, Weaver, poor Weaver. There's just no chance with S4 on the map. When you give a lead like this to Storm Spirit, he's level 16 at 20 minutes in the game right now. Take a look at the net worth. He's not even topping the net worth. Admiral Bulldog's at 10,000 right now. Look at the gold per minute. Yeah, 522. That's, yeah, I don't think RaTtLeSnAkE. They call the GG. I think it's pretty fair. They've had it. 21 minutes in, 17 to 8. They really had no chance with S4 being this aggressive.
Victory.
Alliance goes 6-0 in day 1. Now, admittedly, they were up against probably 2 of the bottom 4 teams in LGD Int and RaTtLeSnAkE. The only easier matchup they could have replaced IG with MUFC, who is the only team that's 0-6 right now. Poor guys. And I do like MUFC. They're nice people. But Alliance take it 6-0 in day 1, and RaTtLeSnAkE are 1-5. It's not a huge surprise. Was hoping for something more of a matchup, less of a stomp, but things are as they are. RaTtLeSnAkE tried their best. I think their lineup was fine, their matchups were fine, but just a lot of bad play is what it comes down to. You can have the greatest draft in the world, but if you're not playing it correctly, if you're overextending constantly as Weaver, such as Lanham, then that's what the story is going to be. Story of getting stomped and losing. Well, I believe that's the last series of the day. So I'm going to call it. Thank you very much for watching. For some reason, I've had 6 viewers. 7 viewers now? Jesus Christ! For hours on end. Maybe you're opening multiple tabs to make me feel better. I don't know. Either way, I don't really care. Thank you for watching. I'm going to start this. I'm just going to go start working on converting all these to YouTube videos and then go pass out and then do this all over again. It's going to be a good time. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.